Hey, aloha, everybody. Thank you for coming. Today's live stream is going to be awesome. Today is the 15th session related to Tao Bei. Got my book off screen here. Here we go. Tao Calligraphy, How to Heal and Rejuvenate Your Back. And as has been stated many times before, that's the least that is focused on in this book. If you happen to heal your back as a side effect of every other form of healing that's offered in this book, congratulations. I'm sure that'll be the easiest part of this. So I am Paul Fletcher, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. This is, as indicated, episode 15, and I have been doing this now on Facebook Live. And the reality is, I might see 10, 15 of you here live, but there's another 15, 20, 30 that watch it afterwards. And this is going on to YouTube Live. And so that means everyone that stumbles across this, 2 months, 6 months, a year from now, will get so much value out of this series. And so today we're going to be focusing on some characteristics of the 10 Da. So if you're new and you missed this entirely, please make sure to go back to either YouTube or the videos on Facebook, because they do archive them there as well, and watch especially the first 5 or 6 of these, because it really feels a strong foundation. We might find us doing some practices with Tao calligraphy or some mantra or chanting or things that might not make sense to you right up front. But the first 5 or 6 chapters explain very clearly how this form of healing works. It's very, very powerful. And welcome, Eugenia. Thank you for saying hi. Welcome, everybody. Make sure you plop your name on there. Tell me hi. I'm happy to acknowledge you. So when we work with this form of healing, Tao healing, speaking from experience, you see behind me, there are some images and whatnot. These are actually Tao calligraphies. I am a center leader for Tao Center Portland. And as a center leader, I work with the tools that I've been blessed to receive. And those include the Tao calligraphies as one of my most important healing tools. And the previous wisdoms and educations that have been shared to this, and the many teachings that we offer, explain exactly how Tao calligraphy works. So I'm not going to regurgitate all that today. Please go back and watch that. So powerful. You can also learn more at Tao Center Portland. I'll put that email here for anyone that's not email, that website here for anyone that's new or someone across this. That shows up in the chat now. And so just click on that, and this will allow you to learn more, especially if you go to, how does Tao healing work? That's like one of the first things that people click on. And then it goes into detail on how Tao healing works. So very valuable, of course. So today, I'm going to go backwards a little bit, covered a little bit what we covered last week, but we're going to move forward today, further into what's referred to as the 10 Da. So a little back history on that. The 10 Da is referred to as the 10 greatest qualities, or the 10 highest attributes that a human being can have. And Master Sha received these 10 qualities through his very deep meditations with the source. And his purpose, if you're unfamiliar with Dr. Master Sha, this is like his 25th book, is to help humanity, to help us to self-heal, to help us to move our lives from suffering to health and happiness. And that's a rather large responsibility. There's almost 8 billion of us, and there's one of him. So in order to accomplish that, he has blessed and left with humanity, many tools, many techniques, and some very, very deep wisdoms from the ancient teachings that he's received, becoming a grand master of many, many ancient disciplines, as well as being a registered medical doctor of both Eastern and Western medicine. So that makes him a very both talented, educated, and well-equipped individual that can assist us with these wonderful methods, teachings, and wisdoms to feel happy and healthier. One of those is bringing more into our life on a daily basis, these 10 qualities. So one of them, for example, is the greatest love. Da Ai is the Mandarin Chinese word for that. We covered that about 3 weeks ago. And then last week we covered Da Kuan Shu, which is the greatest forgiveness. And so, you can talk about the greatest forgiveness, but what Master Sha does So he might write an entire book on it, which I have one above me. He did. He wrote an entire book on this quality. And he'll continue to do that. And each of these qualities, these 10 da means greatest, each of these greatest qualities, when we actually think with that quality, before we open our mouth, if we speak with that quality, if we're conscientious of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and employ those qualities in our life, not only do we change the vibrational field that we live in, we change the vibrational field of those impacted by applying those qualities. So that's one reason why this has been put into this book. So the book, as I started out with, even though it's Tao Calligraphy, How to Heal Your Back, that's the least of the pieces of information in here. He eventually gets to that, but between the beginning and getting to that part, he goes into how does this healing work? How do you bring these 10 great qualities into your life? He touches on the 6 power technique so that you can apply these techniques and wisdoms in every aspect of your life, regardless of what your particular issue is. So welcome also to Lycie, and welcome Anthea. Yes, Isis, it's Isis. Great. I know how to say your name. I looked at him like, I know how to say this name. Great to see you here. Aloha. And thank you all for clicking the share button. A lot of people aren't finding this yet. We get into the end of this show, we end up with 15 people live, which is great, but they missed the first 30 minutes, which is, important. So make sure that you click that button, let other people know. Thank you so much. And obviously say hi so I can acknowledge you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop open the screen and we're going to start diving in, touch a little bit on what we covered last week, and then we're going to touch on this week's wisdom and teachings. Here we go. So last week we finished by talking about Da Quan Shu, the greatest forgiveness, which is unconditional forgiveness, brings love, peace, and harmony to every aspect of life. If you missed that, make sure you go back to either Facebook or YouTube, watch the previous show. I spent a lot of time on forgiveness specifically, and we did an amazing forgiveness practice. Lots of positive comments after that practice. I even received a few texts after that from people who watched the recording and said, wow, that was so amazing. So make sure you also say hi. I got a few more people coming in. I haven't seen you say hi yet in the chat. So let's move on. This week, Da Ci Bei, the greatest compassion. What is compassion? Compassion boosts energy, stamina, vitality, and immunity, and rejuvenates. The third of these 10 greatest qualities is Da Ci Bei. Da Ci Bei is Mandarin Chinese. It translates to the greatest compassion. The sacred phrases that Master Sha received, remember, he meditates very deeply with the divine since he was 5 years old, started doing this practice. So he receives very pure and clear messages. He received the messages explaining Da Ci Bei. Here's what they are. San Da Ci Bei, Yuan Li Zheng Zhang, Fu Wu Zhong Cheng, Gong De Wu Liang. So let's translate that. The third, San Da Ci Bei, San is the number 3. So the third greatest quality is the greatest compassion. That's the first line, San Da Ci Bei. The second line, Yuan Li Zheng Zhang, Yuan Li Zheng Zhang, means increase and uplift willpower. So isn't that interesting? By being more compassionate, you actually increase and uplift your willpower. Next line, Fu Wu Zhong Cheng translates to, Fu Wu means to serve. Zhong Sheng means humanity. So to serve humanity, that's the third line. Fourth line, Gong De Wu Liang. Virtue is immeasurable. Wow. So serve humanity unconditionally, and the virtue you received is immeasurable. That's a pretty big statement. So in the spiritual journey, if one gives love, care, help to others unconditionally, Heaven then records this service. You might have heard of something called the Akashic Records if you're new. Well, heaven records every thought, every word, every action, and that includes those compassionate ones. Heaven records this service, Master Sha goes on to say. Heaven then gives heaven's flowers to this one as a reward. Heaven's flowers are named virtue. Virtue, which is gongda in Chinese, can bless every aspect of life, including for healing, harmonious relationships, flourishing of your finances, and even enlightening your spiritual journey. So let's read the lines together. San da ci bei yuan li zeng qiang fu wu zhong sheng gong de wu liang. What does this translate to? The third is the greatest compassion, increase and uplifts willpower, serve humanity, virtue is immeasurable. Beautiful, huh? Now remember, he didn't make this up. He received in his deep meditation these exact phrases to explain to people like you and me who might be reading this 5, 10, 20, 100 years from now, the simplicity of why we might want to implement these 10 greatest qualities in our life, because this is what helps us to heal and transform. You might have picked up this book because of back pain, and yet you'll find out that you may have back pain because you have a lack of compassion or a lack of forgiveness, lack of love. So by employing these qualities, we can literally bring healing to any aspect of our life. So compassion is an amazing virtue. Welcome also Shani, great to see you here. Welcome Frida, aloha, welcome Sylvia. Love seeing you all here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying hi. And do click that share button. I know you probably have already, but in case you haven't, thank you for that. So next paragraph, compassion is a very important quality for any human being. Millions of people know an individual spiritual being called Guang Ming, the compassion Buddha. She is a universal mother known around the world, especially in the East. And like Jesus, she has served countless lives miraculously. She has, for example, in ancient times, fishermen out on the ocean would find the weather suddenly changing, and huge winds would howl and tidal waves would capsize the fishermen's boats, throwing them into the ocean. One fisherman was sure he was going to drown and die, but he remembered calling heaven. Guan Yin Jiu Ming. Jiu means to save. Ming means life. Guan Yin Jiu Ming means Guan Yin, save my life. And after making this desperate appeal, the fisherman sank into the ocean and lost consciousness. When he awoke, he was lying on the seashore. His life was saved. There are many stories like this. Therefore, in southern China, many large statues of Guan Yin have been constructed. And in fact, in almost all the Eastern countries, you can see them. I was in Thailand where my wife lives, and we're tooling around on trains wherever you go, and you would see these huge statues of Guan Yin. When I was in Europe, running around in Belgium, literally walking down street after street after street, and they would have little alcoves built into the homes and the houses and the huts with Mother Mary. So every different place in the world honors certain beings of love and light. So Master Sha, growing up in the East, often refers to Guan Yin as one of those light beings that serves unconditionally. And so he goes on to say, this is to honor her love and her compassion. She is known as the compassionate universal mother. So other stories of Guan Yin's miraculous powers come from people who had stage 4 metastasized cancer. Medically, they had no hope, but they had reverence for and belief in Guan Yin. They chanted Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa. Namo means to honor. You'll actually hear that often if you go to any of the ancient wisdom teachings. They'll put Namo in front of a being of light's name. Kind of like, we might say professor or sir or madame. Namo, respect. Okay. Namo means to honor. Guan Shiyin, Guan Yin's full name, Guan Shiyin, means she who hears the cries of humanity's suffering. What a beautiful translation. He who hears the cries of humanity's suffering. Excuse me. And she's had many incarnations as different Bodhisattva and Buddha, both as male and female. So sometimes people refer to Guan Yin as he, sometimes people refer to Guan Yin as she. Pusa means Bodhisattva. Many stories have been reported through history that these cancer sufferers and others who had hopeless conditions, they were healed because their heart was pure. They believed in this compassionate Buddha. So Guan Yin became a Buddha, which is the highest awareness and enlightenment long ago. This is the highest achievement on one's spiritual journey. Guan Yin made the biggest vow. If there is one sentient being who is not enlightened, she said, I will not use the title Buddha. Buddha means enlightened one. Bodhisattva means one on the path to enlightenment. So her vow is, you, me, everyone. If we don't make it to the top pinnacle, Buddha, she will not claim she is a Buddha. That's an unconditional servant. So very, very special being. Today, Guan Yin is a household name. Not only Buddhists, but literally millions of people around the world of many different belief systems and traditions honor Guan Yin. People deeply love her and respect her. She is truly an unconditional, selfless servant. She is the Bodhisattva of compassion who lives in people's hearts and souls forever. And again, in case you missed it, Buddha means enlightened one. Bodhisattva means one on the path to enlightenment. And so sometimes people hear the word Buddha and they think of just that one soul who is known in Buddhism. But in actuality, there are many, many enlightened ones. Okay, just kind of a side note. Compassion has unique power to boost your energy, your stamina, vitality, and immunity. Compassion rejuvenates. Compassion increases willpower. Compassion has the greatest love. Compassion serves unconditionally. Therefore, Da Ci Bei, the greatest compassion, is one of the highest qualities in the 10 Da. In one sentence, Da Ci Bei, which is the third of the 10 qualities, Da Ci Bei, the greatest compassion, which is unconditional compassion, boosts energy, stamina, vitality, and immunity, as well as rejuvenates in every aspect of life. So we'll pause it there a minute, check in with everybody. Welcome also, Gavin. Great to see you here. Great to see everybody here. If you haven't checked in, say hi. I'd love to acknowledge you. Thank you all for clicking the share button. You share this in the groups too, There's a lot of people that are in groups of that are basically at the beginner level of their awakening process. And something like the wisdom in this book can be so heart-touching for them. It can really wake them up. So if you belong to groups, make sure you share this in one of those groups. You never know when somebody's soul journey can make a significant shift and they become much, much more awake. God knows we need more awake people in this world, right? Welcome also, Chiki. Great to see you here. Welcome, Sherry. I'm so happy to see you both commenting. Thank you for your presence. So we've completed so far the first 3 of the 10 Da. Now I'm going to go into the next one called Da Guang Ming. And what I'm going to do before we go into explaining it is I'm going to give everybody a blessing with Da Guang Ming. You like that idea? I thought so. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to employ a Tao source calligraphy of Da Guang Ming. These Tao source calligraphies are very powerful. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, Da Guang Ming means the greatest light. And this last week, my teacher, Master Sha, most of you were Master Sha students, was doing a very special event, an advanced event. And in these advanced events, the light, the love, the frequency can be very, very high. So I was going through some shift in my physical, emotional, mental body because of the frequency. And I knew I needed to trace a calligraphy. Welcome, Laura Bash Gall. Great to see you here. I knew I needed to shift what was going on in my body. And I said, okay, Heaven, what do I do? And I heard trace a calligraphy. Well, that's a simple, response, right? I happen to be blessed to have around me several of the most powerful ones because I'm a center leader. So I looked at the 5 that are on the wall, and Guang Ming, that's the one that spoke to me. And I rarely trace that one because, I'm constantly working with whatever guidance is, and I don't see that one come up. But today, that's what came up. We're going to work with it in just a moment. So I traced it about 10 or 15 minutes. If you're not familiar with tracing, you'll learn that in just a minute. And I was like, I felt a significant shift. It was like somebody filled up my gas tank. It was like I was running on 10% fumes, right? And after about 15 minutes, I'm like, wow, I actually feel a lot better. I was really, really surprised. This is the power of the source light. So how did it get into the calligraphy? Well, that's chapter 4 or 5, which is going back about, 7 presentations ago. So make sure you go back and watch those recordings if you're not familiar. I'm going to go ahead and change screens now and share this new screen. Share. And let's find this window. There it is. Okay. So y'all should be seeing this right about now. And this is Guang Ming. So how does this work? Well, when Master Sha creates this, it connects to the source light, greatest light, Guang Ming means greatest light, came into this calligraphy and it resides in here. Think of it as a portal for healing you. It is made to heal. It's just waiting for you to give it love and connect to it, which I'm going to walk you through in a moment. So, but I want you to pay attention to the design. It starts as a circle at the top and he goes around and then he drops back in over on the right-hand side. He drops in. So Mandarin Chinese characters are from right to left and from the top down. So keep that in mind as you're tracing these. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect to this using what's called the 6-power technique. And then we're going to trace it. How do we trace it? Well, what do? We go like this. We touch all 5 fingers together. This connects all 5 elements. I'm not going to go into that now, but know that it will balance your emotions. It will balance the major organs of your body when you touch these fingers together. And so by following the lines on the calligraphy, we're going to go around 3 times the circle, and then we're going to drop into that largest character there, and that's Da. That means the greatest. And then the next 2 characters are Guang Ming, which means the greatest light. Guang Ming is light, greatest light. Okay, so let me make myself a little smaller here. I'm shrinking. Okay, so let us connect first by placing our hands together. You may choose whatever hand position you're comfortable with. I like the prayer position where I drop my left hand in front of my heart center. You comfortable with whatever works for you. Close your eyes, and I will invoke this source calligraphy and the healing within to serve us. And dear the soul of this source calligraphy, Guang Ming, the greatest light, I love you. Could you please offer every person that is watching this a blessing for their individual request. So everybody now silently tell heaven what you wish to receive the greatest light for. If you're new, you might want to choose something physical or emotional, something that's measurable in the next 10 minutes, because we'll work with this for probably about at least 5-10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. I'll go ahead and set my alarm for 7 minutes while you do your request to the source. Okay. Da Guang Ming, calligraphy blessing for everybody's request. Start. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around the circle 3 times. Remember, moving your hand, and just relax your elbow on your body. You're just rotating your wrist. and then drop down in, follow that first big character, come back up, down to the left. This is a very easy one to follow. You can pretty much see exactly where the lines are going. And then we're going to add some other mantra. We're going to add sound power, one of the 5 powers. We're going to add creative visualization, mind power. I want you to see the light coming to your area of request. Where's the light coming from? From the source field. There's a field created with this calligraphy. When the art was made, Master Sha connected to the source. And if your third eye is open, you'll have no problem seeing the field of light radiating from this. It's extraordinary. But that's okay if you can't. You'll experience it. And so we connect and visualize that field of light coming directly to your area of request. If it's an intangible area, it's not physical, for example, just see the light coming to your heart center. Okay. We'll add the sound power. I'm going to chant Guang Ming and the greatest light. And so visualize the light as we trace. 3 times around the circle, then dropping down in and then repeat. Guang Ming, 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 greatest light, greatest light. Still have 4 minutes to receive this light. Greatest light, greatest light, greatest light, greatest light, greatest light, greatest light, Guang Ming, Guang Ming, Guang Ming, Guang Ming. Tao greatest light, blesses my request. 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 Thou greatest light, blesses my request. request. Thou greatest light, bless is my request. Thou greatest light, bless is my request. Another minute and a half. See the light coming to your area of request. Thou greatest light, bless is my 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 request. Continue to trace until you come to the end of this source calligraphy. And from your heart, connect to the source, offer your gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the love and the light you shared so freely with this beautiful source calligraphy. So how'd you like that, huh? Did you notice anything moving? Some people can feel vibration. Some people feel warmth and heat. If you requested a specific discomfort zone, is it better now? I didn't have you check, 10, 8 on a 10 scale, anything like that. I probably should have, but it's always good to measure in advance of a healing of this nature. It could be very powerful, the results. Feel free to share. And earlier, Gavin said, this is amazing. I recently came from my paradise of a country life to big smoke. Apparently there was big fires in the area and got hit with it all on a physical level. But this is it. Yesterday I called on beloved Guang Ming and was tracing the greatest light. Perfect. And he goes on to say, no coincidence, right? Love it. Totally enjoying the deep healing. Great. And then Laura shares she loves the synchronistic aspect of being called here and following that guidance. Awesome. So happy to see you here, Laura. Great stuff. So yeah, this is just one example of this form of healing. At the healing center where I'm at, everything we do is remote like this. So people come into a healing field and for an hour we work with calligraphies like this. And then we do these half-hour sessions in the mornings and evenings where I might be working on the chakras, or I might be working with anger, or I might be working with moving the chi through the chi channel, through all, the whole system. That's what I was doing this morning, working with each of the chakras and then moving the chi in a circular flow. And so through our membership through the program, it's truly just a boom for anybody that's a part of it. So if you're not familiar with that, make sure you follow the link I put in the chat, Tao Center Portland, and check out all the stuff we offer, including the membership page. Very valuable. So let's pop back in and finish the Guang Ming wisdom and information. Let me change the share screen here. See something different than we did before. There it is. Okay, so to complete Guang Ming has the sacred phrases. 四大光明我在道光中道光在我中通体透明 What does this mean? 四大光明 means the fourth of the greatest qualities is the Tao source light. Okay, 我在道光 What's that translate to? The Tao source light is within me. Tao Guang Zai Wo Zhong. Tao source light is within me. So I am within Tao source light. So, yeah, both. And then Tong Ti To Ming. Whole body is transparent. Isn't that interesting? The last line. So I am within the Tao source light. The Tao source light is within me. Whole body is transparent. So when we work with this level of frequency and vibration, we're literally creating a light body. So everybody understands, Master Sha goes on to speak in this book, everybody understands that when you go into a room at night, you need to turn on the light to be able to see. Scientists have shown that the human body shines all kinds of light. Scientists have found this. This light may not be visible to the physical eye, but it could be visible to special cameras or other special instruments. It could be visible to some people who have wide open spiritual channels. Just on a side note, one of the reasons why is because our physical eyes have a certain range of frequency and vibration they can see colors and tones in. Spiritual eye can see different frequencies and vibration, and so can some special camera equipment. So that's one reason why he refers to as scientists are doing this. And so then he goes on to say, Da Guang Ming is the greatest light from the Tao source. Tao source light is invisible, but it exists. Da Guang Ming connects with that original source light. This light can transform whatever is within our vibrational field, including negative information, energy, and matter. The greatest light carries some of the most positive information, energy, and matter, which can transform every aspect of life, including health, relationship, and finances. And obviously, it can enlighten one's journey. So the mantra is chanted, Si Da Guang Ming, Wo Zai Dao Guang Zhong, Dao Guang Zai Wo Zhong, Tong Ti To Ming. Beautiful, huh? Imagine you are within the Tao source light. Tao source light carries a source information, energy, and matter, which is the purest information, energy, and matter, and which can transform the negative information, energy, and matter on your personal soul level vibrational field. It can transform every aspect of life. This is a key understanding with Master Sha wisdom and teaching. Doesn't matter what your suffering is. It could be relationship issue, could be finances, could be health, could be all the above. It doesn't matter the label of what it came from. What matters is, how do I fix it, right? And the wisdom is, it came to you because it was already on your vibrational field. Something on your personal field attracted those conditions to you. If you are healthy but not wealthy, something in your vibrational field causes you to remain healthy. You have earned that. You did good things to help other people's health, etc. But if you have wealth issues, guess what? It works the other direction. So the wisdom is, if you want to transform whatever negativity is in your life, then bring the most positive version of the most pure frequency and vibration to your personal vibrational field, and it has no choice but to match up to that higher frequency. And this is what the Tao source calligraphies do. So if you're kind of new, stumbling across this and it doesn't quite click yet, go to taocenterportland.com, go back and watch the previous videos. Master Sha explains all of this in this book. I dissect it a little bit more and speak a little more humanly about it, about, direct impact to us in our lives, how to apply it, working with very specific practices in a real life scenario versus just, reading it right out of a book. It's more impactful this way, I believe, taking it apart little by little. So make sure you go back to that. And Laura, the link is, if you scroll up in the chat, you'll see it. I put it in there, taocenterportland.com. You'll learn more there. Make sure you watch the How Does This Healing Work videos and the membership stuff. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. That's the same for everybody, of course. Finally, we finished the statement the Master Sha gave us here. He says in one sentence, Da Guang Ming, the greatest light, heals and transforms every aspect of life. Wow. So we're very blessed to have in our presence a truly humble and dedicated human being that's free of an agenda. I've never come across an individual that gives the most profound wisdom and puts in his books this profound healing calligraphies and the wisdom how to self-heal. And he even makes these animated videos, which he puts healing power within. And you can access all this for free, basically, or the cost of a book. And he's just basically has such a heart to serve humanity. He takes some of the most profound wisdom I've come across and makes it freely available. I was watching a video yesterday. It's on the Dr. Shah Facebook page, and he was teaching on the ancient wisdom of Lao Tzu. If you're not familiar with the Tao Te Ching, go learn more. The second most printed book in all creation, the Tao Te Ching, and it's a book of spiritual philosophy. And he's teaching on that, taking this most profound wisdom and giving it to us in bite-sized pieces. This is just unheard of, really, to get that level of wisdom from a great master. Typically, it's held for one person at a time for 30 years before they pass it on. But Dr. and Master Shah gives freely of the healing techniques, the healing itself, the wisdom itself. And then if you have some serious issues, then you come to the centers like Tao Center Portland and folks like myself who have been given higher authorities to offer you direct healing. Of course, you got to pay for that, but we do an amazing job because this teacher is an amazing healer and he's given us some amazing abilities. So anyway, go learn more. I will be here Thursday, 2 days from now. Lori, to my knowledge, is leading the Wednesdays and Friday practice sessions. And what's that mean? She's working with the practices from this book directly. So she actually sit down and practice the practices that are listed in here. And she even uses some of the animated field as well. So, because truly the wisdom's awesome, but if you don't do the practice, it's just wisdom. So you really need to do the practices to have the benefits, show up at the Tao Center Portland, receive direct healing if you need it. We're very good at what we do. So wherever this live stream ends up at, hopefully it'll end up on some podcasts in many places around the world. Make sure you like, share, comment, tell all your new friends about this. So many people we can help. So until such time as I see you Thursday, this same time. If you came in late, come in earlier. I'm here at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So right now it's 4:45 here. Go backwards 45 minutes. I'll be here Thursday going into section 16, which, by the way, I'm only about halfway through the book. A little less than halfway. So we got a ways to go. Okay? So I love you all. I will see you all Thursday. Ciao. Have a great day. Bye.